How's everybody? I hope everyone are doing well. Today, this morning, Miss Effie will lead the sessions, and we are going to go through topics on how to best prepare for your examination, right? How to write a good answer for the examination. So we are going to go through some tips, right? Very valuable information for you, right? To go throughout the semester. And we are doing this because we want all of you to be prepared and could eventually pass the course in a very good mark. Okay, so please pay attention to the presentation and the explanation given by Miss Evie. And then I will also share some real examples of past exam papers and how students did their exam. Okay, thank you, Ibu Evi.
Okay, thank you, Miss Tara. Exam. Why exam is very important, it's clear. Exam takes quite a big proportion in your total mark. Depends on the courses. You will see that the proportion of the exam can be divided into, let's say, for example, if there are 2 exams, then there will be mid exams and final exam. But there are courses that only has 1 exam. Let's say, for example, only the final exam or only the mid exam, and then final exam or final mark will be given from another evaluation. However, this is the thing that you have to remember in the exam. Not like any other assignments in which you can have full control over it. Let's say you were given a homework. So you will have time for yourself to work on that homework, and also you can discuss with your friends. You can also ask your lecturer, discuss with your lecturers with regards to the assignment. So the result of the assignment, the component, the mark that you get from the assignment will be somewhat more in your control, within your control. However, in the exam, there are many uncertainties. You can, let's say, you can prepare yourself very well in the exam. However, on the day of the exam, you have health concern, for example. Yeah? So exam is taking, let's say, if I would say that to success in an exam, there are 2 parts that you have to understand. One is the preparation, and the second thing is that how you act in the exam. So pre and on the exam are 2 things that you need to prepare in a proper way. In BMM International IUP program, we have, especially in the BMM, we have exams in the form of essay tests. So there will be no exam in multiple choice form. All will be in essays. So this is quite different from what you have in your high school, in which you can have the opportunity to guess A, B, C, D. So you have 25% possibility to answer it correctly. But in the essay test, you cannot do that. If you don't know the answer, then you get 0. If you know the answer, you get full mark or half of the mark, or depends on the quality of your answer. Now, with regards to this full mark or 0 or half or a partial mark, this is what we would like to discuss also in this session, how to get full mark, because not all answers are eligible to get full mark. But you don't need to have so much concern about your answer will be graded unfairly, for example, will be marked unfairly. why my answer, which is one full page, is graded only 60% of the full mark, and why my friend's answer that is only half page is graded as full mark. So it is not like that. However, we have rubrics here in Business International. So we have rubrics as the guidelines to the lecturer to mark the answers according to the quality of it. Whether we give 25% of the full mark, 50% of the full mark, there are criteria. So this, you can also, if you feel that your answer is of high quality and you can get full mark, you can go to your lecturer. Don't worry, we are open here, and ask politely, yeah, why I don't have full mark, where do I do wrong, where did I do wrong, so that in the spirit of, so that in the next exam I can do better. Yeah? I can do better and get the full mark. Okay, let me share you the slides with regards to this material. Later, you will see that there are things that happens quite, let's say, unexpectedly in the exam that we found as a lecturer. Of course, there will be things that you are familiar with also, but let me repeat and refresh your memory about the exam. What do's and don'ts in exam, especially in Business International exams. First thing first, don't study for exams. First, you will think, what? That's right. You should not study only for exam. And you should not study for the sake of exams. But you should study for learning and understanding. Yeah? Learning and understanding. So if you study only for exam, then two things. You will do it overnight, begadang. Yeah? S1, 4 years, S2, S3, so it's taking like 10 years of becoming a student, yeah, of being a student. So if we study only for exam, then the next thing is you are studying for the sake of exam only to get past the course. Then the result is after the exam, after you pass the course, hopefully you pass the course, you don't learn anything and you don't understand anything. Well, you may say things like this. Well, I only study for the exam so that I can pass this course and then I can graduate and then that's it. I can work. Well, yes, hopefully your assumption will be correct, because time to time we do understand that the competition out there is harsh. For recruitment, they are requiring you not only based on the certificate, but also based on the GPA. But not only based on certificate and GPA, but more importantly is about what you can do, what you are able to do, what you understand, what they can see from you based on your work, based on what you are capable of doing. So that's why if you study only for exam and you study for the sake of exam, you will not learn anything, you will not understand anything, it will be quickly eroded from your mind, and then by the time you need to implement those knowledge, you are somewhat having a gap between the necessity to implement the knowledge and your ability to fulfill that expectation. In short, even if you are getting recruited, you are not getting later on. Okay, I don't need any certificate, I don't need any GPA, I have my family business, so for sure I will be accepted there, for sure I will be the director, I will be the owner of it one day later. Okay, This is the thing. You study only for exam, you study for the sake of exam, then you don't learn and you don't understand. You become the chief executive officer of your company, your parents' company, your family business. No one will say that you should not be promoted. Okay, then you are on the top already. However, because you don't understand and you don't enough learning enough on the thing, then you will not know that somebody else can fool you, right? So this is very important. When you are on the top, because you don't have enough knowledge to be on the top, you can be quickly fall down. So exam is only one thing, but this one thing will determine the success of the next bigger thing in your life. So firstly, don't study for the exam. Don't study only for the exam, and you should not study for the sake of exam. You should study for learning and understanding. Then, if you want to have some good grades, is it wrong? Of course not. But if you want to get some good luck, is it wrong? Well, you want to have some good luck. However, to get a good luck, there are two things: preparation and opportunity. All right, preparation meets opportunity. This is what we call as luck. So whenever we say as a lecturer, good luck for your exam, it means that we hope that you prepare yourself for the opportunity to giving out the best of you. So there is no such thing like having a very good luck, out of the blue. It never happens, but it has to be prepared, and this preparation has to meet the opportunity. Let's talk about the preparation stage then. What is to be done when we need to make a preparation? First thing first is to research your lecturer's style of exam. Some lecturers ask for a very comprehensive explanation on something or on the thing that they ask. Some lecturers want to have a straightforward answer. So it depends on the style of your lecturer's exam, you follow how you answer it or how you prepare. So if the lecturer's style of exam is, let's say, an elaboration or one thing, a long essay, then you should prepare yourself collecting data, collecting materials that can allow you to synthesize it, to collect them together, so that when there is a questions with regard to the elaboration, all materials are already there. You also need to incorporate the lecturer's focus and style into your studying. Sometimes the lecturer mentioned that this is very important, then you take notes, okay? If lecturer mentions something that, listen to me, this is common mistake the student do, take notes. That could also be your mistake later on. Sometimes your lecturer mention things that, listen to me, this is the thing that needs to be a very strong conceptual understanding. Then you have to focus on that. I'm not saying that only focusing on lecturers class when they say that, but when they say that, it means a thing, it means an important thing. So you have to take a focus, more focus on that, and to put that into your studying process. In Venus International, especially nowadays, because of the pandemic situation, we do an open book exam. So it means that it's actually open resource. You can open books, you can open Google, you can open journal articles. It's multiple resources that you can incorporate into your answer. Sometimes students think that open book exams are easier, a lot easier than closed book exam, because you don't have to memorize, you don't have to, let's say, yeah, prepare so much with regards to the open book exam as in the closed book exam. But open book exam is, let's say, has a trap. Yeah? If you don't prepare yourself, then open book exams is like you are trying to find a needle in a very big stacks. Yeah? You don't have any idea where to go to find the information or to find the answer for that question. So that is terrible mistake. To the very least, then you have to treat the open book exam as though they were closed book exam. Prepare yourself, even let's say, put more effort when it is an open book exam, because it will be, let's say, you will need to do the what you call as cheat sheet, yeah? Contekan, not contekan, cheat sheet. So it's like a summary of a thing, yeah? So that you can be easily answering it when the topic comes out in the question. That's why in an open book exam, you are recommended to make your all table containing key parts. Cheat tips. When cheat sheets are allowed, you need to prepare one. You need to include important visual cues, theories, and formulas or calculations, and make it easy to read and navigate. Sometimes you are allowed to prepare to bring cheat sheets if this is in-class exam. Yeah? If it is in-class exam. In our situation nowadays, it is an open source, yeah? But the cheat sheet tips here is applicable in the way that you can prepare one summary table or a piece of, let's say, some pages that includes the summary of visual cues, theories, frameworks, mind mapping, and all the things to make it faster for you to find the information. Yeah? Let's say you can put here example from your exercise at home, and then when there is questions related to that, similar to that, it will be easier for you to remember. Oh yeah, this is the way to do it. Okay, that is the cheat sheet tips. Don't skip any task review sessions the lecturer schedules. In Business International, we have one session before every exam to do the preparation. So in this session, usually we as a lecturer give you the summary of the topic that we discuss, the summary of the topic that we discuss along the semester. In the syllabus, you can find the review sessions in every session before the exam sessions. So there will be 2 review sessions. And here in the study materials and topic not covered in your class, please don't cover that. 99.9% your lecturer will not ask the topics which is not covered in your class. If you already mastered the topic in the class, then it is already very good for you. Don't rely primarily on someone else's outline, commercial outlines, or study aids. So just because you know that your friend is smart and she is already finishing the outline, her outline, then you think, okay, I will just make a photocopy of her outline and then use it as my outline, as my cheat sheet, so that it will be easier for me. Don't do that. Why? Because this outline made by your friend is prepared according to his or her understanding, his or her way of learning, way of studying. his or her visualization of which page are related to this and how this topic related to the next one, and so on and so on. So you can have it, yes, but then at least when you have someone else's outline, you need to discuss with them how is the let's say the flow of the outline. Yeah, what is in here? What is the abbreviation that they put there? Okay, so that is important. Then don't assume that an open book exam requires less study time, so that you will be, let's say, not really doing it wholeheartedly. And the last thing is don't procrastinate. Usually one exam will comprise of 6 weeks material. So if you cram those 6 weeks materials into one night studying, chances are you will not get a very good mark. Chances are you will not get A. If you get a C, then that's already good. Yeah, that's already wonderful. But sometimes C is also not achievable by doing one night preparation. So do not procrastinate. At least along the weeks, along the 6 or 7 weeks of preparation, of learning, you chew it bit by bit and not cram it at the end of the half semester or at the end in your head in one night only. So do not procrastinate the preparation stage. The other thing is that what to do at the end. So you prepared enough. And then here comes the exam day. What to do? First thing first is to review the entire test and consider quickly performing a mind or brain dump. Every exams, in-class exams especially, will be proctored. In-class exams will be proctored, will be monitored by a person and also by your lecturer. But we will not be there all the time. If you have the exam materials already on your desk, review the entire test, review the entire questions, and you need to understand first the questions. If you don't understand the question, you can ask the proctor, or you can let's say ask the lecturer if the lecturer is there in the room. Right, so review the entire test, and then what does it mean by quickly performing a mind or brain dump? When you read the questions, sometimes it comes to your mind, oh, this is about this. Yeah. Oh, this is about, this is requiring a formula of this and this and this. So when you see that, quickly write down relevant formulas, dates, forget what we call as brain dump. So you take it out from your brain and putting it on your, let's say, a piece of paper, scratch paper. Yeah? So that, especially this is very important in the closed book exam, yeah? So that you are avoiding the, let's say, sometimes nervous can make you forget something. Yeah? So you want to avoid that to happen. How to answer your exam? First, formulate a thesis. What is a thesis? A thesis is a clear point that is being argued that answer the question. So formulate a thesis. Second, organize your supporting points. Third, make a persuasive argument. So these are 3 stages. First, this is your standpoint. This is a thesis. This is a definition. Second, organize your supporting points. How these supporting points can strengthen this definition. And then make a persuasive argument to support these points, to support or to strengthen the understanding, to elaborate further. Yeah? This is how you answer your essay test. If there are any supplemental questions or bonus questions that will give you extra, for example, extra 5 points, sometimes lecturers do that. So if whole marks is 100, sometimes, or there is a possibility to give a bonus point of 10 points, for example, if you can answer these questions. Maybe that is a more challenging questions. Yeah? So try and complete any bonus or supplemental questions, because you never know whether you can already achieve full mark in the previous questions. Complete one final review of your task before you submit it. So it doesn't work like this. Answer number 1, answer number 2, answer number 3, stops, and then answer number 4, and then I still have another 10 minutes, so I will answer it. I will use it to answer number 5. That's it. If there are only 5 questions. No, it should never be like that. If you are given 120 minutes of exam time, allocate sometimes like 15 minutes to review the whole answer. Sometimes you forget a thing or you remember it wrongly when you write your questions, and then when you reread it, then you remember, oh yeah, that's not the right answer actually. So I have to revise my questions. So at least you have 15 minutes to make a final review of your test. Okay, to have a final review of your test. Do not use all of the 120 minutes just but not giving a final review. What else of not to do at the exam? First, don't make excuses. We don't read excuses. We don't care about excuses. Don't write at the end of the page that, sorry miss, I ran out of time. Of course, we know that after the, for example. So no need to write those things. You don't need to lengthen your answer unnecessarily. Your lecturers will give no credit for elaborations of the obvious. So when you say, sometimes students do like this, oh yeah, so that I can get full mark, I will write my answer in a very, let's say, in many lines, And then the first line, they write, this is important to be noted as the solution to the problem. And the second line, solution to the problem is very important. Third line, we do understand that every problem needs solution. Fourth line, therefore, all problems will require solution. It's unnecessarily. Yeah? So no credit for such a thing. No additional mark for such a thing. Yeah? Then this point, kitchen sink, is also a no-no. What is kitchen sink? If you know your kitchen sink at home, there are lots of things dumped there. Plates, spoons, forks, knives, many things. Yeah? It's all put into the kitchen sink. But this is like putting unnecessary information in hopes to get more points. Okay? So in addition to the point 2, in which you lengthen your answer unnecessarily, yeah, elaboration of the obvious. Number 3 is talking about cramping informations, unrelated informations into your answer. That is also a no-no. Instead of giving you additional credits, your lecturer will think that you don't know anything because you put them all together. Yeah? So don't leave out questions. Try as much as possible to answer the questions, especially when nowadays you are given an open, let's say open sources exam. So open resource, any resource is okay. So please don't leave out questions. Don't leave an exam early unless you really have to do it, or you really have a reason to do it. Okay, because for example, your health concern, you need to go to the toilet, so you just need to go there. You are not allowed to go to the toilet in the in-class exam. Okay, but don't leave an exam early. um, can you turn off your mic for those of you who are still putting it on? Yes, thank you. So let me show you a good answer for short essay problem. The question is, describe cluster sampling in a comprehensive way. So don't worry about cluster sampling. What is that? Well, this is, I only want to show you this student, this is the real answer from a student. This student structured in a very good way. Cluster sampling is, this is a definition, a standpoint. Formulate a thesis, a definition, a standpoint. So describe cluster sampling in a comprehensive way. Cluster sampling is blah, 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 where the whole population is divided into groups called clusters, where then a simple data is selected. This is a thesis, this is a definition, this is a standpoint. First thing first, definition. Define what is asked in the question, right? And then this method, because you need to describe, okay? Describe means you have to show that this is the shape of, if I ask you, describe your mom, then you describe her, is my mom is blah 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 blah, and then you describe further, her hair is long, she is working in blah blah blah, she likes to do this. So you describe. This method is used when there is a blah 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 that can be seen in the whole population. But this is used to, but this is doesn't require. So contradictions is important to be also provided. Yeah? My mom likes to do this thing, but she doesn't like this and this and this and this. Yeah? This is how you describe your mom. What she likes to do, what she doesn't like to do. Right? And then this organize the supporting points to describe something. Research is to organize the supporting points. And then the third stage is giving persuasive argument or example. Then when you say that my mom doesn't really like let's say, doesn't really like a full makeup. So that is a supporting points. Persuasive argument or example to that is, for example, she goes to the supermarket, she only wears short pants and then tie the hair and then without lipstick. That is persuasive argument or example. And in this case, organize the supporting points is the method is used when blah, 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 blah. And the method doesn't require all clusters to be used, blah, 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 blah. And the persuasive argument or example to that is that could use cluster sampling by dividing, for example, this and this and this and this, and take these from Germany and take 50 from each country. So this is a persuasive argument or example to describe cluster sampling. Yeah? Then this one. Your lecturers do read your answer. Never put any unnecessary information in hopes to get more points. Sometimes student thinks that, if I write questions, if I write very long lines, then I will get full mark. Not necessarily so. times, wait, sorry, you don't see my screen? Sorry, students, can you see my screen now? My PowerPoint screen?
Yes.
Yes, miss.
From the beginning, can you see that?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, we
okay. So you can, right? Okay, so there is no problem with the PowerPoint because I a chat that they cannot see my screen. They cannot see my PowerPoint, but you can, right? Okay, good. All right. Your lecturers do read your answer. What does it mean? This is the answer from a student in my class. Describe stratified sampling in a comprehensive way. He put it this way: the population is divided into blocks, and then he copy pasted into a half full page, but only the headline. The population is divided into this. The population is divided. The population is divided. The population. What? If you think that the amount of lines are determining your mark, then it is wrong. Then it is wrong. Your lecturers do read your answer. So please write your answer carefully, yeah, because we do read that. Never put unnecessary information in hopes to get more points. Okay. Not all of your exam will be essay part. How to answer if it is a computational problem? For example, don't worry about these questions. Okay, you will have these questions later on in semester 5, 6, or something. Okay. Management would like this and this and this and this and this based on luxury market information. This is the percentage of luxury consumers. Calculate the required sample for this study. First thing first. Write down relevant formula. Brain dump. Okay. When you see this, oh, okay, this is a problem with calculation. So formula related to this is blah, 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 blah. Write down relevant formula. When you see a formula, you will see variables. What are these Z, P, E, N? You will need to identify those variables based on the story. Okay, so you identify Z. Okay, what else? P, P is proportion, so this is okay, so you identify them. E is the margin of error. Oh, there is a margin of error here, so the margin of error is this one. So then you need to put them is a unit. There is a unit, whether it is people, whether it is kilometer, whether it is let's say dollar or something. But don't forget about the unit. Don't forget about the unit. Always 4.9 the amount of sample, required sample. Video is lagging. I see video is lagging. You still cannot see. Maybe the internet connection is not very good. Anyway, let me check. Let me check my. I stop share first. I'll check my internet connection, whether it is using the. Can you see my slide now? Yeah, you can see the slides. I hope it will be better now. Okay, good, thank you. Let's move further. Don't make blind guesses in the exam. There is a story, a computational problem here. This is 95% confidence interval, margin of error, blah, 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 blah. Calculate the required sample. And suddenly, out of the blue, this student gives the answer 250,000. How? Out of the blue. No, never make any blind guesses, because although the number is correct, we will not give you marks if your answer is only like this. Okay, you need to write down how you come to that number so that you will get any mark. And then suppose that management, how would the sample size change? Decrease to 4,000. Again, how? You should not make numbers out of the blue. There has to be steps, calculation, so that you arrive into that number. Okay? No excuse, no apologizing, no insult. This is the real example from my student. Yeah? This is the real answer in their paper, exam paper. Sorry, for the 5th questions, I didn't quite understand how to use the software yet. Well, the one that should be sorry is only you yourself. We already prepare you to understand about the software, about the formula, about the material. Exam is not the time to say sorry. But if you don't quite understand how to use software, the formula, the concept, or whatsoever, come before the exam period. Ask your lecturer when it is in the session or outside of the sessions. Make an appointment first so that you really understand, and no need to make excuses, apologizing, especially no insults. I tried with the ugly Cindy, his friend, but it still remains a problem for me. Sorry to disappoint you. You don't need to apologize because you cannot answer the questions, all right? And don't tell that this is because I already tried with my friend, but yeah, and it doesn't really matter for us, all right? So when you want to do an extra mile, do it before the exam period. We will help you. We will help you. But don't apologize at the exam paper saying that, sorry, I don't quite understand about this topic. It's just too late. It's just too late. Nothing that we can do for that. Don't waste time doing useless things. When you have no clues what to answer for these, then I don't know what's in the mind of these students. He wrote something like this, dum tak tak, hey tayo, hey ayo, hey, I don't know what is this, okay? So this is wasting time and useless things. Don't do that. Instead of doing these things, you'd better check again your answer. Yeah? Even if you cannot answer one question, it's always good to think and try to dig out some more information, some more data from your head, or even Google something. What is this? What is this? Now it's very convenient for you because it is an open resource exam. Yeah? At least write something. This is the real exam paper from my student. It's empty. Empty, zero, clean paper, come back to me. Okay, this is of course not good. This is from the final exam, if you see. So in the in-class exam, in the sitting exam, you will be given a book like this. This is an exam book. Then you will need to write on that. Every student will get this one book. So this is a final exam of this guy, and looks like he didn't prepare at all. So he didn't write anything at all. Yeah? So yeah, it's discouraging for us lecturers to see that students is so let's say so have no idea at all at the end of the semester. Well, this is already in the final exam. Please don't do the same thing. Please don't do the same mistakes. Yeah? So that's it for the exam. What I want to say is that um, to have, let's say, a good mark. It's not coming out of the blue, it's not coming over the night, but it's all about the preparation and the thing that you need to do at the exam. So prepare yourself to bring out the best of you, and then here comes your good luck at the exam time, because luck, once again, is preparation meets opportunity, right? Okay, so that's all for my tips to excel in the exam. Any questions? You can ask me. You can also ask Ibu Tara. We can discuss. This is, let's say, an open forum session. Questions?
Students, please raise your questions if you have any questions.
Can I share? Can you share the PPT, Miss? Share. I just shared the PPT. What do you mean by share? You want the file or how? Anissa, you want the file? You want it somewhere, or you want the specific page to be shared again? Oh, you want the file. Okay. Who is this? I can give it to the who is the what is it, the students ini committee coming to here. Is there any student guys? What is this?
I think we can share with the panitia, Bu, later on.
Yeah, I guess there has to be a student here. I mean, student from their senior, so I can give it to them or to the operation. Yes, of course we can share it, Anissa. Thank you. But I sometimes shine refo. But I sometimes can't explain things in a quiet, simple way, and sometimes it can be done with me explaining with a longer word. Okay, so you prefer to do a longer word. What do I do? All right. Longer word is okay as long as it is structured. All right. Just like what I mentioned to you, formulate a thesis first. This is very important. So you don't jump here and there because, oh yeah, I haven't read this. Oh yeah, I haven't. That's why it is very important to structure the way you're thinking. You can explain every single word if it is making you more comfortable. Let's say, for example, when I ask you, explain how to explain why the price of let's say the medical mask is very high, was very high when it was the beginning of the pandemic. Then for those who likes to answer it in a short way, in a straightforward way, maybe they will answer it, yeah, because there are so many demand for the mask and the seller also put them away from the market so that because the demand is very high, the supply is very low, then the price is high. Finish. That is correct. Okay. But then again, you can also, for those who prefer to explain it in an elaborated way, in a long way, they can explain it still in a long way. That's okay, but in a structured way. You can explain something like this. There is the limitation of supply in the market. People try to buy more masks and they try to stock it in their home, although they don't need it for now. And more people are going to buy that blah, blah, blah. And then the next one, this makes also suppliers think that it is better to stock them, to pile the stock up and blah, blah, blah. It's very long, right? But if the structure is still clear, it is okay. It is still okay. Yeah? But just don't make it jumpy here and there. It will make the lecturer confused. Okay. Am I answering your question, Sandrifo? Hopefully, yes.
Yes, Miss. Thank you, Miss. Yes,
Okay.
Miss.
There is a question from Fatur Abrar. how is the exam being conducted during online learning? It's very convenient, Fatur. So we will have exam given to you on the appointed time. Let's say, for example, Friday, 9 a.m. in the morning, Jakarta time. Okay, Jakarta time. All right. So you go and then get the material from the, let's say, the appointed sources, and then you answer it. Open source, you can find the answer from, you can open your book, your textbook, your notes, your computer notes, your Google, your whatever. You can open any sources, okay? But be careful, just because we say that it is open resources, don't think that, okay, I will just open the resource from my friend's exams answer. We were also students, so we've been doing that kind of thing. We know when you are cheating, right? So we've been there. So we've also been kind of naughty when we were students. So we kind of know those kind of tricks. And to make it, let's say more, let's say, what is it, interesting for us is that we've gotten so many types of cheating techniques nowadays. So we know when you cheat or when you just copy paste from your friend's answer, right? So after you finish this exam, then you will need to upload it to the respective, let's say, place, whether it is in the MS Teams or in the Google Drive. Operation will tell you where to upload the answer within the respective time. And then that's it. And the lecturer will get it from that drive. Is that clear, Fatur? For real-time online exam from Dharmayanti, do we have time to type in the exam? For example, if we are used to brainstorm and structure our exam in paper. Type in the exam, you mean to type to answer it, right? Yeah, you will need to type in the exam and it will be within that time frame. So if you consider that typing is faster, then you will have more time actually, rather than if you do it in class, right? In the class, if you do the in-class exam, you will need to make a handwriting and it takes long time. However, in the online exam, like now what we have, online exam, you type it and of course it will be faster. But if you find difficulties, for example, to writing formulas or to write let's say scheme, yeah, if there is building blocks and it takes too much time to do it, you can actually write it down and then take a picture and then embed it into the document, right? So it will be faster for you. Brainstorm and structure your exam is, what is it? When it is an online exam, of course, you already have a brainstorming before. So you have this online, the outline cheat sheet prior to the exam. Are we going to type our answer in Microsoft Words during? Yes, Microsoft Words. And you can also put it into the PDF file after you put the Microsoft, after you type in a Microsoft Words. Is there any specific apps? No, there is no specific apps, but especially in your stage, there is no specific apps. But in the later semesters, when we need to work with specific software tools, maybe you will need to work on that tools. But nowadays, in your stage, I don't think so. Is a textbook required for open books exam? Well, not only for the open books exam, Raymond. Textbook is required for your learning process. Okay, so whether your textbook is an ebook or it's a hard copy, up to you. The way you think you can learn it in a better way. But of course, this is the thing. When students ask me, is it important to buy books, Miss? let me tell you something. Even if you buy it, it doesn't guarantee that you pass the course. Apalagi if you don't buy it, right? That's the logic. If you buy it, at least when you need to find information about the topic, you can open it. But if you don't have it, where to go? Browsing. Browsing maybe not going into the right direction. Huh? So yes, please provide yourself a textbook, whether it is an ebook or a hard copy, up to you. Ashley asks, once we get to study in campus physically, are we allowed to use our digital notes and online textbook during classes and open book exams, or do we need to be using physical notes and textbooks? When you are in campus studying, like what we have so far, if it is an open book exam, most of the time we will use the textbook, the physical book. Why? Because the digital version will require you to bring the gadget, and it is not allowed to bring the gadget. So it is a physical book. And this physical book has to be an original one, not the, what you call it, a copied version, because it is unethical, it is illegal as well. Yeah? So you should buy the original version of the book and not the copied version. Physical notes are allowed according to the, let's say, the exam regulations by the lecturer. Some of the lecturers say that you should not bring textbook, you should not open your textbook, but you are allowed to bring your outline, or you can bring your physical notes, buku catatan, for example. Yeah. So it depends on your lecturer, how they would like to, let's say, allow you to get an open resources. Depends on them whether it is allowed to bring textbook or no textbook, only physical notes, or no physical notes, no textbook, only outlines or cheat sheet. Huh? Sure. So would it be okay for me to bring printed version of my notes? Depends on your lecturer's policy. For me, in my class, usually I allow students to bring one cheat sheet, one page A4 back-to-back cheat sheet only. So they will need to write down all the summary of the things in that A4 paper back-to-back, but not the copied version of the textbook, or not the copied version of the physical notes. Any more questions? In the
There is
perfect
one more
scenario,
question. Yes.
where we absorb everything in lectures, is that enough to be prepared for exams? Well, yes, if you absorb everything in lectures, if you absorb and then you can remember all the things, that is enough. That is all the things that you need. If you have, to the extreme, if you have photographic memory, let's say, you read something and then for the next 3 months you can memorize everything that you read, that is okay, yeah? As long as you understand it. But for general situations, that thing is utopic. That thing is most likely not happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, if you absorb it in the lectures, if you absorb and then you really can keep it in your mind until the exam, that's all what you need actually, right? But if you are very confident that you can absorb everything in lectures and then you think that you don't need preparation, for me, it's like saying I'm very confident with the weather forecast, so I don't bring any umbrella, although it is in the rainy season. So, well, it's up to you. If you are really confident, maybe you can try that in one exam and then see the results. If it works for you, then yeah, we're just okay with that. Utara, maybe you want to share something in addition to the material that I give to you, to the students?
Okay. Yes, Ibu Evi, thank you very much. I just happened to search how much actually student can absorb information, yeah, during lecture. And this is actually very interesting. And students, you may also want to consider, right? How much effort that you should put in your study after attending lecture. Yeah, let me share the screen. So, students, can you see my screen?
Yes, Miss.
Hello. Yes. Okay, good. Now, this is just some information, right? This is actually not what I want to present today. But since one of you asked questions about whether it is enough to just absorb the material in the lecture and then will be enough preparation for the exam. Yeah. Now, this is to show that there is a learning pyramid, right? And how much knowledge retention rate that has been done. This is like from the previous research. Yeah. Now, um, as students, if you, for example, attending lecture in passive way, right? So there is passive teaching methods, right? And then you pay attention to all the audio visual presentations that are given in the lecture. And then perhaps the teacher, the lecturer, do some demonstration, show you how to do things, show you how, materials, right? Lectures through audio and visual. Most likely, you will retain only 50 to 55% of the materials, right? So is it enough or not, right? I don't think it will be enough just to pay attention and absorb materials during lecture. Yeah, that's why in the course there will be some assignment projects, right, that you all have to do, right? This is actually to encourage all of you to also have group discussion, yeah, group discussion in preparing for the assignments, group projects, right? And also enable you to, if some of you know better than the others in the group project, right, with your friends in the group projects, if some of you able to teach the others, it will actually enhance your ability to retain information, knowledge that you gain throughout the course. Okay, so by passively attending lecture and pay attention to what the lecturer explain, show to you, right? You may only most likely have 55% of the information, most likely like that. Yeah. So is there any questions about that? I'm sharing you this uh, um, um, pyramid because to help answering the students some of the questions from one of you. Any question? I cannot see the questions, Bu Effie.
There is no questions, but
Okay.
someone is saying yes, miss or something.
Okay. I will also stop sharing that file, right? Now, because Ibu Evi already explained to you a lot about preparation for the examination, right? Sorry. Stop sharing and Okay, and what I would like to share right later on is now is how to answer the questions in the exam. Ibu Evi already mentioned to you, right, the way to answer questions, right? And when there are some analytical calculation, right, required in answering the exam questions. Yeah. Now I want to share you the past paper that we prepare for final exam. Yeah. The subject is marketing management, and all of you will also have to take this subject later on. And as Ibu Evi mentioned, right, lecturer have their own ways, right? So during the course, you need to pay attention to any tips, hints that are given by the lecturer. Take notes during the lectures, right? Which part is important, because usually lecturer will highlight the important parts of the topics, right? And then a lecturer will also give hints towards the end of the semester, right? Which part that you have to pay more attention on, right? And as Ibu Evi also mentioned, how the tips, tricks to write, to answer the exam, right? And I will also show you the exam paper. I will share with you the exam paper, yeah. One moment. Okay.
Sorry to disturb you, Bu. Your screen is frozen actually, Bu. We cannot see anything.
So I will stop share first. Okay, because I haven't shared anything. And then I will share this. One moment. Can you see example of exam paper?
No, Miss, I cannot see anything.
Not yet, Ibu.
Okay. What about this page? Can you see this page?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah, Ibu.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Miss.
Now this is actually a very recent exam paper, yeah. And for a marketing management course, you will also be given an article, yeah. And then the instruction, right? Please read the article. There are different articles. Most likely team lecturers, because usually there are a number of parallel classes. So we always contribute to the topics that going to be examined. So it's going to be most likely current issues in marketing, yeah, current things that happen that will relate to this course, right? Now, you will be given an article, and then okay, there this exam in the example, in the previous example, very recent, right? The article is about Dove soap, right? Everybody knows Dove soap, right? You are required to read this article, and then okay, then based on those articles, you will be required to answer the questions. Now, is it just enough to answer the questions relying on this article alone? Yeah, my answer is not. We try to formulate the questions, so it will require your knowledge that you've gained throughout the semester, more like theoretical knowledge. And you can also combine it with the current situation in marketing, in the business, in marketing path, right? About product or services, right? So how we will assess your ability on how to link between the theoretical parts that you learn throughout the semester and the real situation. Yeah. So Miss Effie also mentioned how to answer the questions, right? You should not give like the kitchen sink type, right? Just because you are unable to answer the questions, then you just write things that are not related and not even answering the question itself. Yeah, because we don't give angka buat nulis. Some students think, Miss, I have answered the questions. Don't I get any mark? Okay, we are not giving mark for things that don't answer the questions, because if you write things that don't answer the questions, it just show us that you don't actually know what the material, you don't master the topics, that you don't know what to say, right? So that is actually the tips from Miss Effie, right? Don't write unnecessary things. Okay. Now, in this is some of the questions, right? And then in these questions, lecturer usually show points, marks that student will get in answering the questions. If you can answer the question satisfactorily, you get full mark. Yeah. So the most mark that you get, the highest one is in this example, 10 points, right? So 10 is the maximum. So don't elaborate too much, right? Thinking that because you are mastering this particular topic, then you elaborate the questions. Elaborate the answers, because you will not get additional mark. Yeah, the maximum mark is still this much, whether it's 5, 10, 15, right? Some lecturers have different ways, right? But in the previous subject, in the previous exam, and this is the marks that we gave to each of the questions. Yeah. Now we actually try to also give highlight, yeah, so that students, I'm sure, because perhaps within the 3 hours, you have to read the articles, try to understand the topics, as well as you have to try to answer the 10 questions. Yeah. Why this is actually 10 questions? Because the subject is actually 4 SU subjects. If the subject is 2 SU, there will be most likely about 6 to 7 questions. If for 3 SU subjects, usually there will be less than 10. Yeah, maybe about 8 questions. Yeah. Now the full mark total, the mark will sum up to 100. Now I will give you the example on how student answers. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I was unmute. Now, can you see this presentation, students?
Yes, Bu.
Okay. Okay, let me share again. It was shares. Can you see example of exam paper?
Yes, Ibu.
Okay, good. Okay, now this is the question in the exam. Yeah, a student is required to assess Dove beauty campaign using AIDA model. This is an example. Later on, you will be taught about AIDA model, right? AIDA is an abbreviation of attention, interest, desire, and action. Yeah, so as this is like a customer, marketer needs to gain customers' attention, yeah, in order to raise the attention of intention of customers to purchase the product or services, right? But intention is actually not enough. In marketing, the idea is how customer will eventually purchase or make action to purchase the product. So it has to go through the attention, interest, desire, and action model. Yeah, later on you will learn about this. Now, the good answer, right? A lecturer will want will want to know whether students actually understand what AIDA is. So that means lecturer expect that student will give explanation of what AIDA is. Yeah, AIDA. So this is an example of a good answer. Yeah, student explain what AIDA is, and then later on link to the case of Dove and its marketing activities, how the marketing team or Dove, yeah, try to get the attention of customers, and then how they hold the customers' attention up to action in buying the product itself. Yeah, so this is a good answer. I give you another example of good answer. Yeah, these students, right? Instead of writing in paragraph like this, they make she actually created a table and then try to explain each of what is the term or in AIDA. Yeah. And then give some explanation in the table itself. Now I will give you the example of poor answer. Yeah. Now, for poor answer, there is little information, explanation about each of the terms in AIDA. Okay, the student can actually explain that AIDA stands for attention, interest, desire, action, yeah. But there is little explanation. What is attention? What does it mean by building customer attention? Yeah. So in here, student only write continue to use real women in advertising and billboards. So in which way that will create customers' attention is not explained in here. Yeah, and it's not also explained in, for example, each of the terms that what interest is, how they build desire, customers' desire, right? So although the students can mention what each of the term is, I mean, what is, can elaborate the abbreviation, right, into attention, interest, desire, and action, but because there is little explanation about each term, then we will only give you less than half of the marks, yeah, because this is not sufficient. As Ibu Evi already mentioned, a lecturer will have rubric. Rubric means guidelines on assessing students' answer. So for each of these questions, yeah, there will be a rubric. How student get poor mark, average, good, and satisfactory mark. Yeah, so looking at this answer, this is between poor and average. Yeah, the student able to explain what AIDA is. However, there is little further explanation on each of the term. Any question in here?
Miss, I
Yes.
think some of my friends they ask whether that we need to answer this in a very long, I mean like in essay form only,
Yes.
or we so use
So,
what the table shows us.
yeah, this is a good answer. They get full mark. Okay, now this one less explanation. So we will not give full mark. Yeah, as a lecturer, we have to also compare students' answer. Some students can give good answer like this, clear with sufficient explanation. Yeah, this one clear, well, a little bit less, but still considered good. This one is actually poor. Okay.
Okay, Miss.
Now, next question. So this question asks how effective Dove in applying social media marketing to create customer brand engagement. And then you have to support your argument. Now, sometimes a lecturer asks, give examples or support your arguments. So not only answering the questions, but you also have to give additional examples or supporting your arguments. Okay. Now, social media marketing. So, okay, this is talk up how social media marketing create customer brand engagement. Yeah. Now, this is a good answer. Students are able to mention, okay, how Dove use social media in engaging its customers. Yeah, and then she also mentioned in this answer using the case of in YouTube, using Twitter, right? What are the activities that Dove do to engage its customers? Okay. So sometimes lecturer will look at the key words first. Is there any keywords related to answering the question? Right? And then what is the explanation? Okay. Now this is another example of good question, good answer. Yeah, more elaborate. Yeah. Okay. So mention about Instagram, Facebook, and then what Dove does in Instagram and Facebook. And so this is actually supporting what the opinion, whether they are successfully engaging customers or not. Yeah. Now, this is an example of poor answer. Yeah. In applying social media marketing to create customer brand engagement, Dove is doing very well. So what? How? The student didn't explain further. Creating brand customer engagement through social media has been done by Dove by getting emotionally connected with the market. How? This answer does not explain how Dove able to engage in customers' emotional connection through social media. How to create customers' engagement is not answered in here. Yeah. So although according to the student, the opinion that Dove has been successfully in creating customer engagement, but without further explanation, I think these students just say blah, blah, blah. right? So in answering this type of question, you have to show evidence, right? Support, right? But with social media that has been used by the company. And then what has actually the result of this engagement between customer and the product or the brand. Okay. Is there any questions from students?
So far, no, miss.
No, no. Now you are actually going to do the exam in online, through online, right? So you will be given some times and then you will given answers, questions that you have to answer within certain time. And then especially in this semester, when you do the exam online, that means there is no limitation on the source of information that you can use in answering this question. Yeah. At the same time, you will have the information from books. You will also search information from other resources such as in the internet. Yeah. But make sure when you are answering the questions, you are not copy pasting from other sources. Yeah, because when you are copy pasting from other sources, and if we can identify that, you will be marked 0. Okay. Now, oh, this is also another example. Yeah. But I think that is quite clear enough. Yeah. Lecturer usually look for keywords first, and then explanation related to the keywords, yeah, related to the answer. And then this is also another example of poor answer, yeah. Just based on his own knowledge, perhaps, right? He answered the questions like this. But we don't, what we assess is not only your own knowledge, but your own common trivial knowledge, but knowledge related to things that you have learned throughout the semester. So this is very important. Yeah. So in answering the question, yeah, which strategy that has been adopted by Dove in foreign markets. Yeah. So the student answer using adapted global market. That is not enough. We expect students elaborated explanation of what is adapted global marketing and how it is implemented in Indonesia. Yeah, in the case, this is in Indonesia, right? So like, this is like they adapt the style of advertising in order not to make local customer displeased. What this is like a kitchen sink explanation. This is something that not answering the question, right? And it just show that students don't actually understand the answer or don't understand the what is adapted global marketing. Okay. Now, because you also have a lot of resources, right? Students, some students that are actually not only answer the questions the questions from the textbook, but also use other resources. Then at the end, they will use references like this. This is good because then we know, yeah, they are actually answering the questions and also try to find answer from various sources. Yeah, there is nothing wrong with this, but do not copy paste. So when you read through other resources and then we think that your answer is actually answering the questions, we want to make sure that it's not copy paste. Yeah, because we do check on that as well. Okay. any questions? Actually see my presentation?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. So did you see, did you understand what a lecturer expect during the, expect from the answer or to the exam questions?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Miss.
Yeah. So this semester is going to be your first semester, and I hope from Ibu Evi presentation on answering exam and preparing for exam, right? It will help you to prepare and pass through this semester in flying mark. Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Evi. I think I'll give it back to you.
Okay, Ibu Tara, thank you so much for
Yeah.
the examples and all the things. Can you hear my voice well?
Yes, Ibu.
Yes.
I'll just put on my earphone again. Right. So there are many examples already, and we have shared tips and do's and don'ts for the exams. Don't worry too much. The most important thing is that you enjoy the process of learning. Exam will come anyway, and you will have to face it accordingly. This first semester is, of course, fully online. We are even going back to PSBB next week to the our limitation. So yeah, for this semester it will be fully online. The exam will also be fully online. So you have all the opportunity to prepare for the exam starting from day one, right? Lots of opportunity to make you get a very good mark in this semester. You have to remember, this is the funny thing about learning journey. First stage is always the lightest material, right? It's always the lightest material. So with regards to the lightest material, this is your opportunity to get the highest GPA, as high as you can achieve. And to give you more motivation to get your best out, this is let's say the opportunity for you also to prepare all the materials beforehand, and it's an open source, open everything exam. So there is a very huge possibility for you to get a very good mark. Don't waste it. We never know when we will have this so-called luxury in exam anymore. Next semester, in the event semester, hopefully, cross our fingers, if everything goes well, virus is under control, we can meet each other in campus, and there is no more open everything exam. Then controls in exam will be less and less in your hand. There are so many things that maybe there will be a memorizing thing, closed book exam, and all the things. Yeah? So take this opportunity, look at this as a luxury that you have for your first semester in your study in IUP, Venus IUP, to get the highest mark, as high as possible, because you will have full control actually for your mark. Okay? All right? Any questions, any doubt, any whatever concern that you have at the moment? No? All good? All right. If you have further questions, you can, just in case you forget and then it pops up in your mind later on, you can send the questions to the, or you can ask the freshman leader to forward the questions to us. Yeah? and then we will answer it through the freshman leader or through any other channel. Okay. All right. If there is no further questions, Butara, maybe we can close this session. Hello. Butara is interrupted.
The presentation by Miss Effie and Miss Tara. So I hope you guys learned something, and you know, when final exams are coming, you guys will fill in the answers correctly, the way, you know, from the lecturers, you know, expectation. So guys, don't do the mistakes that you saw before on Miss, is it Effie's PPT?
Yes.
Yeah, please don't do that. Don't, make sure to fill in. My tip is make sure that you try and fill in every question at least, so that the lecturers, you know, even if you can't explain but you kind of know the answer, you still get a little bit credit, you know. At least try your best to, you know, fill everything in. You'll get like maybe a lucky 1 point or 2 points at least. So just try and, you know, fill in every question. That's my tip. So thank you so much, Miss Effie and Miss Tara, for the presentation.
Okay.
Okay, you're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Good luck for your exam. Enjoy the process of learning.
Bye.
Bye.
And guys, don't leave first, yeah. We have an announcement.